need him fully before I attack him. A half John Cena isn't the guy who I want to attack in that moment.
I can't open the envelope without
The Oscars just keep ramping up the drama year after year. Remember when Chris Isaak planted a surprise kiss on Cameron Diaz during a live moment? Then there was the jaw-dropping Adrien Brody-Halle Berry smooch that sent shockwaves through the audience. And now we've got John Cena streaking in the buff at this year's ceremony. But hold on to your seats because Dwayne Johnson has some juicy thoughts on Cena's wild antics. So, what exactly did he say? Dwayne. The Rock Johnson met his Hollywood counterpart and WWE mate John Cena backstage at the 96th Oscar ceremony at the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles. However, Cena wasn't in his regular formal dress but was draped in a toga. That was to execute his act on the stage while presenting the Best Costume Award for the night. John Cena's act garnered huge uproar from the fans, and it spread like wildfire on the internet. And now, The Rock has himself spoken out about his interaction with Cena the previous day. On Monday night's edition of Jimmy Kimmel Live, Kimmel told The Rock that he missed out on a chance to attack Cena. The Rock replied,
A half John Cena isn't the guy who I want to attack.
When Kimmel asked him if he would attack Cena if he was fully to this, The Rock replied, I need him fully before I attack him. That was his joke, by the way. John Cena's headline-grabbing appearance at the Oscar ceremony on Sunday stirred up a whirlwind of reactions as he boldly took to the stage in a state of undress. However, contrary to initial assumptions, meticulous planning and adherence to stringent guidelines characterized his seemingly impromptu nudity. Walt Disney Television executive VP Rob Mills shed light on the intricacies behind Cena's onstage exposure, revealing that every detail was carefully orchestrated to comply with regulatory standards while delivering maximum comedic impact. We made sure that for all intents and purposes, he looked like a Ken doll up front, Mills disclosed to Variety. This attention to detail extended to concealing any potential breaches of decency, with measures in place to cover Cena's crack from view and securely fasten the envelope containing the award for Best Costume Design. Despite these safeguards, Cena's presentation was indeed in the nude, a fact that captivated audiences and ignited debates on social media. Mills delved into the behind-the-scenes negotiations that transpired between ABC ceremony producers and the Federal Communications Commission, highlighting the delicate balance between pushing boundaries for comedic effect and avoiding regulatory penalties. The prospect of Cena inadvertently exposing more than intended loomed large, prompting meticulous planning to mitigate risks and ensure compliance with broadcasting regulations. The wrestler-actor, who fittingly enough starred in the hit Barbie as a Ken doll merman, joined ceremony host Jimmy Kimmel on stage for an homage to the infamous onstage streaker of the 1974 Oscars. Appearing au naturel to present the Academy Award for Best Costume Design, the Birkenstock sandal-clad Cena had only the category's envelope covering his crotch. According to Mills, the exact amount of Cena's skin to be shown was a subject of contention between ABC ceremony producers and the FCC. There was a lot of reticence of not just a fine from the FCC, but potential complaints, the producer said. The standards and practices executives were sweating, according to Molly McNerney. I think at the end we all got to a spot where we were comfortable. S&P, Standards and Practices, was comfortable, and it didn't compromise the comedy a bit, said McNerney, an executive producer of the Oscar ceremony and Jimmy Kimmel Live. I was very thankful that we didn't have to send Cena out there in tighty whities, which I'm sure legal would have preferred. When the Ricky Stanicky star appeared on stage with only the envelope, social media was abuzz with debates about how much, if any, clothing was behind it. That's what I wanted, McNerney told Variety. Maybe it's not what the FCC's Standards and Practices team wanted. That's definitely what I want. The 2024 Oscar for Best Costume Design went to Holly Waddington of Poor Things. Cena handed her the trophy in a makeshift toga that was hastily tied on during the category's presentation montage. You have to do those embarrassing moments on screen where you're asked to give of yourself and be vulnerable, Cena recently told People. Whether it's dressed as a merman, whether it's in your tighty whities, or in a Britney Spears outfit, you've got to wholeheartedly commit. He added that often, confidence and foolish courage is all you need. Meanwhile, Cena's outfit, or lack thereof, caused a huge buzz on the socials, and many fans were not pleased. In fact, some felt that John Cena was undergoing what is often referred to as a humiliation ritual. No surprise that John Cena is walking on stage at the Oscars during primetime TV that children are most likely watching. This is not just a humiliation ritual. The Hollywood perverts are certainly getting off on this. I'm sure Jimmy Kimmel is as well. Let's not forget that Kimmel had Tom Hanks do a skit on his show Young People where he called a young person a sex baby and had her sing Talk Dirty to Me. Also, Kimmel ran another skit on his show featuring an FBI-identified in it and a pizza. Pizza is P code that's been confirmed by the FBI, DOJ records, and local law enforcement agencies. These people are sick, one fan commented. Another person who commented on this is Andrew Tate. The controversial social media influencer said he believed the WWE legend sold his soul.
I want to make something clear. I was saying this morning on Twitter how John Cena, yesterday at the Oscars, was doing his humiliation ritual to satisfy his paymasters.
He went on to add, some people were saying, oh, maybe he is promoting his movie. I don't care what movie I make. You cannot convince me to do that. You cannot convince me to do something fruity or weird. It doesn't matter what movie I am in. I won't do it because my principles are too strong. So to say he is only promoting a movie is still agreeing with me because you are saying he did it to promote his movie for money because he sold his soul to his gay paymasters. In any case, just a few months ago, John Cena was seen sporting a schoolgirl-style miniskirt, makeup, high heels, and tights. At the time, one fan commented, "Say it ain't so, John Cena. The soul has been sold." A second fan added, "John Cena, why are you letting them do that to you? I know it's a price you have to pay to be in Hollywood, but come on." Another celebrity subjected to the ritualistic humiliation of the Oscars is Halle Berry. On the same night that Denzel Washington won Best Actor and Sidney Poitier accepted an honorary Oscar, Berry became the first Black woman to win the Best Actress Oscar, and she remains the last. "This moment is so much bigger than me," Halle Berry said through sobs during her 2002 Oscar acceptance speech. "This moment is for Dorothy Dandridge, Lena Horne, Diane Carroll. It's for the women that stand beside me, Jada Pinkett, Angela Bassett, Vivica Fox. And it's for every nameless and faceless woman of color that now has a chance because this door tonight has been opened." Berry understood the magnitude of her victory. Going into the ceremony, Berry and her ball producer Lee Daniels were certain she would lose. She had lost everything to Sissy Spacek for In the Bedroom, Daniels revealed. It was surreal. It was out of body. Berry also remembers it as a blur, but what she does know is that her speech came from my collective consciousness of what I had been feeling all along about the shoulders of the women that I stand on. Only a few moments into the speech, she says, did reality sink in. I remember having the thought of, oh, I'm actually up here. I think I won this thing. For her role in Ball, Berry, then 35, became the first woman of color to win the Best Actress Oscar. As of now, she is also the last. In addition to Washington's award, Berry's watershed win came the same night as an honorary Oscar for Sidney Poitier, who became the first Black man to win a Best Actor Oscar in 1964. But much of the promise of that moment has failed to materialize. "I'm heartbroken," Berry said about the continued lack of diversity among Best Actress winners. "I would love to sit here today and say that meant something on that night, which allowed 5 others to be standing there next to me in 20 years, right? That would be a huge win." Now, aside from grieving about the lack of diversity in the ceremony, Berry also faced an unprecedented assault. You see, during the same ceremony, Adrien Brody won the Best Actor Oscar for his role in The Pianist, a film based on the life of Jewish composer Ladislaw Shpilman in a post-World War II era. Brody was 29 that year, making him the youngest man to win the Best Actor category, a record no actor has surpassed. Brody's obvious elation was apparent in his acceptance speech. "I haven't really written a speech because every time I wrote a speech for the past one of these things, I didn't win," Brody began. "What I do know, though, is that I've never felt this much love and encouragement from my peers and from people I admire and from complete strangers, and it means a great deal to me." Unfortunately, Brody's 2003 Oscar win is also memorable for a entirely different reason, one that would never fly today. Upon arriving on stage, Brody embraced Berry, then swiftly locked lips with the actor. Afterward, Berry looked visibly shocked and quickly descended into awkward laughter. The kiss was met with enthusiastic applause from the celebrity-filled audience. However, the disastrous Oscars moment obviously hasn't aged well. Halle Berry had some strong thoughts about Adrien Brody's decision to kiss her. During an August 2017 appearance on Watch What Happens Live, a fan asked Berry if the kiss with Brody was planned.
"That was not planned. I knew nothing about it."
Okay.
Can I say it for real?
Yeah.
I was like, what the f*** is happening?
She continued to add, because I was there the year before, I know that feeling of being out of your body. I just effing went with it. Referencing her 2002 Oscar win for Best Actress, the first win for a black female actor. But I was like, what the F is going on right now? After Andy Cohen inquired how the kiss was, Berry again replied, I don't know. I was too focused on what the F was going on. I don't even know. Ironically, Adrien Brody doesn't seem to regret kissing Halle Berry. In 2015, Brody spoke with Vanity Fair and reflected on the infamous moment. That was probably one of the most memorable moments ever, said Brody. You could say time slowed down. That was that moment where I really felt it slow down. In fact, it must have, because by the time I got finished kissing Halle and people kind of settled in, they were already flashing the sign to say, get off the stage, your time is up. Brody continued, it's amazing to have the presence of mind to be able to convey the things I wanted to share, because it is an enormous amount of pressure. In addition to enduring public scrutiny and humiliation to achieve A-list celebrity status, some actors must also grapple with what is commonly referred to as the Oscar curse, a pervasive superstition suggesting that winning an Academy Award can precipitate a decline in both career and personal life. This phenomenon has particularly been associated with recipients of the Best Actress category, with a prevailing belief that it disproportionately affects women. The notion of the Oscar curse has persisted for decades, supported by a myriad of instances purportedly demonstrating its validity. One prevailing argument revolves around the post-Oscar struggles of many Best Actress winners in securing substantive roles that match the prestige of their award-winning performances. Additionally, anecdotal evidence suggests that some actresses have experienced personal challenges following their Oscar victories. Numerous actresses have become synonymous with discussions surrounding the Oscar curse over the years, their careers serving as emblematic examples of its purported effects. One such instance is Halle Berry, who, after clinching the Best Actress Oscar for her role in Ball in 2002, encountered difficulties in finding roles of comparable quality, a predicament exacerbated by a string of box office disappointments. Berry remembers thinking after her Oscar win, well, this is going to have to change my life now. Now I'm going to have to get more scripts and be taken more seriously. Reality was more complicated. I was disappointed when I realized it's not going to do any of that, she said. I won that award, and they didn't back up the script truck to my door because I won it. I became more famous, more people knew my name, and I think my industry respected me. But my quest to find roles for people who look like me did not become easier. Similarly, Gwyneth Paltrow's trajectory after her Best Actress win for Shakespeare in Love in 1999 exemplifies the narrative of the Oscar curse. Following her triumph, Paltrow experienced a notable downturn in her career momentum, ultimately opting to take a hiatus from acting for several years. Renee Zellweger, despite winning the Best Supporting Actress Oscar for Cold Mountain in 2004, encountered her own professional challenges, enduring a period of stagnation before reclaiming the spotlight with her critically acclaimed portrayal in Judy in 2019. Charlize Theron's experience echoes the struggles faced by many Oscar winners, as her Best Actress win for in 2004 failed to translate into continued success. Despite her undeniable talent, Theron grappled with the pressure of living up to the critical and commercial acclaim of her award-winning performance. What's more, several winning performances by Black actresses have been decried for perpetuating old stereotypes. Among the multiple stereotypes of Black women portrayed in American cinema, the most well-known ones are probably the Jezebel, an innately promiscuous and predatory woman who cannot control her impulses, the Sapphire, the sassy and neck-rolling angry Black woman, and the Mammy, the archetypal Black female stereotype in Hollywood, famously played by Hattie McDaniel herself. While these performances were convincing and powerful, they all insert themselves into a narrative of Black pain that is all too often seen in American cinema. But what is potentially the most problematic aspect of Black actresses' relationship with the Oscars is that winning, in many cases, has not always benefited their careers in Hollywood. In any case, it is not just female actresses who have fallen victim to the shady underbelly of Hollywood. For starters, we have comedian Cat Williams, who doubled down on how his industry peer, Jamie Foxx, might have given up his dignity for an award, but that's only half of what he said about the actor. About a decade ago, when Cat Williams was doing a show in Los Angeles, he said something to the audience. He told them that Jamie Foxx might be gay. The comedian straight up said, "Who's gay? Jamie Foxx." He even gave a name, saying, "I can even tell you the name of the guy he messed around with. His name is Marcus Anthony. He's the only guy signed to Jamie Foxx's label." awful. Then the comedian kept going and said a lot of negative things about Fox. He used strong language and said, forget Jamie Foxx and the money he got from Django Unchained. He also said, they gave me the script and I said, any guy who does this should die. And the next thing I knew, Jamie Foxx was getting ready for the movie. Now the comedian is making more accusations about Fox. He's saying that Fox gave up something important to win an Oscar. Honestly, Fox's journey to success has had many bad moments, and these made Kat think he really did give up something important. Fox is a person with lots of talents. He started by doing funny skits, and then he became an actor who won an Oscar. However, it seems the situation might have been a little deeper than how Williams painted it out to be. According to reports, Fox didn't initially take his Oscar nomination seriously because, just as you'd expect of a rookie in the industry, he believed there was no way he'd win it over the greats he was nominated with. But it turns out the decision makers of the industry had it all planned out since the beginning.
What happened was that I didn't have a clique. I didn't have a crew in LA, and everybody had a clique. The Wayans had a crew. It was like,
when I was up for the Oscar, I didn't really think it was a big deal, Fox explained. I thought there's no way I'm going to win that thing. I saw Oscar time as a reason to have fun. I was like, oh, I'm nominated. Let's celebrate with champagne and party. I remember having those photo-taking people following me for the first time. I went a bit crazy. At the Golden Globes, I had some champagne and I acted pretty silly on the red carpet. Looking back, I realized I wasn't respectful to the whole thing. Fox talked about going to the show with a friend and being nominated for many awards that year. On the red carpet, he and his friend were shouting about how many awards they were up for that night in a way that seemed immature, he said. His publicist called him and scolded him for his behavior, saying, "What are you doing? Can't you see how embarrassing this is? You have a chance, but you need to act a certain way." It turns out that it might have just been a way for these elites to prepare him for what was to come, as Fox seemed to have reached a major crossroads in his career where he was seemingly going to get inducted into the upper ranks.
And then I get a call. And on the other end of the phone says, "Hi, Jamie Foxx." So who's this? This is Oprah.
The first person to intervene and seemingly get Fox on track for what the elites expected was one celebrated media mogul. The television personality called Fox and told him personally that he was blowing it. She told me, "You really have a great chance to do something that is wonderful, and the character you played touched so many people, but not if you act like this," Fox said.
You want to meet who you're supposed to meet here? I said, yeah. He's right there. And it was Sidney Poitier.
The big boss in media seemingly had a plan. She asked Fox to come to a party at Quincy Jones's house. Fox said he got to meet a bunch of actors and actresses he admired when he was young. They all said good things about his work and congratulated him. But the boss lady brought Fox to the party so he could meet one person especially, Sidney Poitier. Standing in a tuxedo in the corner was Sidney Poitier, Fox said. "I walked up to him and he said, 'I watched your performance and I grew 2 inches. I leave you with one thing, responsibility.'" From that point on, Jamie continued to land all the major awards and became significantly more successful. The moment he started to have a change of heart, he became the subject of a SEAL misconduct investigation. And when he managed to scale through that, he landed in the hospital. Tells you that there's almost no one these can't get to. And just like in Fox's case, these industry elites also tried to ruin a couple of other actors who wanted to turn their backs on them, and one of those was Cuba Gooding. Gooding's story is a bit different from what we're used to seeing with famous people. The big shots in Hollywood not only made him lose popularity, but also messed up his life beyond the glamorous world. But it's not just them. He also had a part in his own downfall. Around the late 1990s and early 2000s, Cuba Gooding was a big deal in Hollywood. He got attention from being on TV shows like Hill Street Blues and MacGyver. Then he landed a major movie role in John Singleton's first movie, Boys and the Hood, which became really famous. After that, his career got even better. He acted in other good movies like Rob Reiner's version of Aaron Sorkin's A Few Good Men and the thriller Outbreak. But let's focus on the elephant in the room. One main reason Cuba Gooding Jr. isn't getting roles anymore is because many women say he did some bad things. But here's the deal. Although Gooding himself also did some not so great stuff, people are saying that part of the reason he's in this situation is that he was planning to expose some secrets about people in Hollywood. But in Gooding's case, it got him into a lot of trouble.
It's horrifying because your words are not your words, they're someone else's, and then that becomes the headline, whether it's true or not.
It all began in June 2019 when USA Today said that they were looking into Gooding for touching a woman inappropriately at a bar in New York City while he was drunk. After that, Gooding went to the police himself and got arrested. You might say, this was when things started to go badly for the actor. He was on a good path, but suddenly it all turned around. And things got even worse later that year when something even more terrible happened. Back when this was in the news, people were talking about it a lot. They were saying that the reason things were going so wrong for Gooding was because he might have been about to reveal some horrible stuff happening in Hollywood. But how would he even know about that? Here's the deal. Even though Gooding lost everything eventually, he was doing pretty well before all this happened.
I mean, you must have felt like you'd lost everything, right?
Yeah, well, it's more than that.
Besides acting in several successful movies that made a lot of money, Gooding also won an Oscar. Getting that award meant he could ask for a lot more money for his roles, and he could also choose whichever movies he wanted to be in. He became one of the top people in Hollywood, and he enjoyed that success. So it adds up that being part of the most special group in Hollywood gave him access to lots of people and let him see things that happen behind the scenes. It seems like he might have found out more than he could handle. While he wanted to shine a light on what was happening in the industry, the powerful people seem to have stopped him in his tracks. But it's possible that Gooding also made some bad choices that helped the important folks cancel him.
It's just one of those aspects of being someone in the spotlight. You can't stand on stage with an award over your head and accept that, but not accept this.
It seems he wanted to expose them because they pretty much ruined his career. Gooding himself talked about it and thinks the industry was trying to hurt him. He says that some white actors who did worse things than him got away with it and are still doing well. He also said the only reason his situation was different was because he didn't let them control him. All in all, with all the humiliation and rituals going around in Hollywood, it seems that no up-and-coming actor will manage to navigate Hollywood and fame without conforming to the demands by the powers that be. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.